Brother lads, welcome back to Cossy Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Mikel Arteta has revealed that Declan Rice didn't play against FC Barcelona because there was a slight injury, but it shouldn't be very serious, and Mikel Arteta didn't want to actually accelerate the situation. That is why Declan Rice didn't play. We're going to be getting the remarks from the gaffer on the game, on the intensity that we showed against Barcelona and being physical when we needed to be physical. He said in his pre-match press conference that there were times where Arsenal were not physical. There were times when we lost that physicality from Granit Xhaka, and it actually showed. And he said the team has to find the right balance between technical and physical. And I thought we were really physical against Barca. I thought the intensity was very good, to an extent that Xavi actually came out and said Arsenal were too physical for friendly. That should be played in the UEFA Champions League. But of course, we'll be getting an update from Balogun, who is actually also injured, and that's why he didn't appear for Arsenal in our last two pre-season games. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let's get this video to 500 likes. Now, first and foremost, Mikel was asked about the physicality of the game against FC Barcelona, on being physical when we needed to be, and he said at the moment it got really competitive for a friendly match. After the first tackle, after the first goal, obviously in front of 70,000 fans, it helps you to create an atmosphere. They are all elite players and all want to win, and at the end of the day, it got a bit too much at times for a friendly, to be fair. But I think we showed all the people that came to watch the game. It was really good. Now, I'm not really sure we were watching the same game. I'm not really sure it became too physical. I don't think it became a lot too intense. I'm not really sure about that, because the game I watched personally was less physical and less intense than what Manchester United actually gave us and portrayed in our friendly. Lisandro Martinez literally broke Saka's leg. Like, that is the intensity that game had. That is the level of physicality that game had. Fouls, tackles, flying in, flying kicks, and everything. I think against Barca, you've got to be physical, and we were really physical, and because we played players like Thomas Partey, we played players like Kai Havertz, the physicality was going to be massively much better than that of FC Barca. I think when they introduced Frank Kessie and Frankie de Jong in the second half, the physicality kind of matched up to the same level of Arsenal's. I don't think we were too physical. Let me know in the comment box below. Was it too intense? Were we too intense for Barca? Of course, like I'm going to say, Julian Timber was a class of act as well. He was very good. He was a little bit too tight on Rafinha and a little bit too tight on Dembele, but that is what you want from that guy. That is what you want from that boy. You want him to give you his best, and that is his best. He doesn't let the best wingers beat him 1v1. That is one, and he's always as aggressive as a lion. So I thought it was fine. That is what we see every day in the Premier League. How many times has Saka gone down and the referees have said, get up, go on, right, move on. So I don't think it was very physical, but of course Xavi said it was very physical. On Florian Balogun's absence in the game, Mikel says at the moment he wasn't available. He had a little foot injury, and he hasn't been training with the team very well. So he wasn't available for us. That was the reason. I mean, there is a lot of cloud overshadowing his future. There is a lot of cloud overshadowing exactly what's going to happen with Florian Balogun. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Is he going to have a part in this team? Is he going to be loaned out again? I mean, there's a lot, but of course the manager has cleared the air that he should have played in this if he didn't have that injury. And he was literally asked about the transfer, whether he will have a part in the team. And he said, yes, we will have to see. First of all, he has to be fit and available to play minutes. Okay, so we have a full month to the end of the window. I don't know how much time Mikel Arteta will give him between now and that period to see him whether he's going to be staying or going. Of course, we have a couple of games. You have the Community Shield. You have the Emirates Cup final. You have I think 2 games in August for the Premier League. So let's hope you will see. Let's hope that's enough to evaluate Florian Balogun. But the gaffer says we'll have to see. Okay, on if this is Arsenal, or this is the Arsenal we're gonna see next season. It says that's how we want to play against a rival. We will play the way we can, but we will play the same way in every place we go and try to give our all as well. Yeah, it was a much better. It was a much better game than what we offered at Manchester United. And I think that was more, the Manchester United game was more like a wake-up call to Mikel Arteta that, hey, your team is lacking in areas where, competitiveness is away from talent and technicality. Your team is lacking in physical presence. Your team is lacking in intensity. And I thought against Barca, we played so differently as compared to the way we played against Man United. One, you had a lot of runners running, right? A lot of runners doing the running. And we didn't look to control the game as our sole purpose. We did try to control the game at times, and we did because we have Thomas Partey. But there were also many occasions where we definitely played the direct pass. So that was very different. And I think if you combine that with what we did with the Premier League last season, because still we are much better than 14 or 15 of the 20 Premier League seasons that will actually play next season, or 19 Premier League teams that we will play next season. So imagine Arsenal being direct, physical, intense, then +1. Dominating the games. It's going to be different. It's going to be much better, and it will help us win games quicker and easier. On Xavi saying that the game was very intense, and he was surprised. He says, at the end of the day, football belongs to the players. We are playing in front of 70,000-80,000 people, and when it comes down to it, as soon as the game starts, they'll rebel against the coaches and do what they want as soon as there is the first foul. As soon as there is a first game, they'll start getting intense and they'll start playing. Okay, I don't think it was intense. I just think Barca are not used to that style of play, and they need to actually get used to that style of play because it's a reason why they suffered a lot last campaign, and Xavi knows that. On having a strong squad and any potential transfer movements, it says we have 30 players here, which is unsustainable. And obviously, the market is still open and things can happen. But we are prepared. We are really prepared and happy with the squad we have at the moment. We are obviously going to have improvements to make in terms of what we do in games and what we have and we have to do that. Overall, I'm really pleased with the team. 30 players, unsustainable. You know what? I don't know. I think we should stay with around 20 players. I still think Arsenal will lose up to 10 players in terms of outgoings this summer. When they start leaving, when they start going, it is going to be an exodus. So I agree with Mikel. It's unsustainable for you to have 30 players. I think 22 to 25 is just enough, in my opinion. Okay. Mikel on whether sharing goals around the squad will have a big impact on the season ahead. Says, I don't know. We have to score as many goals as possible. If we have somebody who can score 25, 30, 40 goals, then great. Today, Gabi didn't score, but it's the best Gabi that I've seen for months. Again, we have that energy, that belief. He was creating lots of chaos, a lot of good moments. He was making everybody better, and I'm really pleased with that performance. And he also says, and the contribution from Kai as well. Why he's playing, he's got that quality in and around that position with Leo. We've got a lot of options up front, and they're going to have to compete between them to give me a hard time. Obviously, the way we play and the way we set up, we do not have a 40-goal machine. We don't have a 35-goal machine. We don't have a 30-goal machine. We don't have a 25-goal machine. It's going to be about the spread of goals, how goals are spread out. I think how Manchester City won the title last season is relying on a dependable goal scorer. I think Arsenal do have dependable goal scorers, around the pitch. I think Mikel Arteta still believes in that philosophy of 10 goals per player rather than 30 goals one man, right? But I still think in the future we will go out and sign like a real number 9. I still have that in my mind, but we will wait and see how that's gonna actually turn out. Mikel on Declan Rice and Alexander Zinchenko's absences. It says Dec had a strong kick in training, and we didn't want to take the risk. He wasn't comfortable to train yesterday and today as well, and we decided not to play with him. With Alex, he had a muscular injury again. Unfortunately, he's getting back. I think he will be back soon, but it's a shame that he hasn't been with us for the whole tour. Okay. 2 injuries, setbacks. Zinchenko has suffered another muscular injury. Rice had a strong kick. I don't know. The way I saw, yesterday, we played much better with Julian Timber covering for Alexander Zinchenko. I think what he wants, Mikel, is that one player that can give you a replica of what Zinchenko gives you. But I am really, really concerned for Alexander Zinchenko, and this is the reason. He's a very good player, and he is so talented. Like, he's very talented, and offers something that many people do not actually give us. Those, key passes. But with Julian Timber's defensive ability, with his ability to defend wide spaces, with his ability to tack into midfield and pass effectively, with his physical attributes of the game, with his intelligence, speed, and determination, I won't be surprised to see Timber left-sided, like Nathan Ake has been playing for Manchester City, and then Ben White, Saliba, and Gabriel. Actually, I think Julian Timber gives Gabriel a very good shield and a very, very good cover. One of the problems we'll talk about in the videos today is having 2 catastrophic mistake makers in Gabriel and Aaron Ramsdale. So when you have Julian Timber covering and hovering over Gabriel, of course, you have Thomas Partey sitting in front of the midfield. I think Alexander Zinchenko might actually have to refine and redefine his role in this Arsenal side. I think the fact that Timber played there, it meant that Barcelona couldn't catch us on the break, and they couldn't exploit our weaker side, which is actually Gabriel. If you've seen how clubs play against Arsenal, they don't usually attack Saliba because he's the strongest centre back. Right? So they attack Gabriel. They always target Gabriel. And I think Zinchenko has been some kind of a weak link defensively. So Timber played that very well yesterday, but I would love to see my boy Zinchenko back in the team still. Now, with Deckers, let's hope it's not something serious. Let's hope it's just something small. Just like the gaffer said, you don't want him to pick up an injury at this time, do you? I mean, you want him fit all the time. Mikel on Trossard's performance on the evening, he said it's great to see him score. He's been working so hard. He came in he came in a really good condition for preseason, and he's a player that gives us something very, very different to the wingers we have. He's got an incredible versatility and predictability to play in positions. It's great and will be good for his confidence. That is actually for sure. Well, I think left wing is one of our most competitive places, isn't it? Nelson, Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Trossard, Jesus can play there. Saka is left-footed, so he can play there. Fabio Vieira can play there. So Kai Havertz can play there. It's the most. It's the most inflated area of the pitch with quality. So Trossard played there very well, scoring the goals. What I like about Trossard is that ability to come inside and take advantage of the spaces that Gabriel Jesus leaves. Because Jesus is not a box striker. So you need a box striker. You need a guy that can, you need a guy that can come into that space, and that's why Kai Havertz is still very key. But I like Trossard because he comes into the middle of the penalty area and he takes advantage of those chances. Leo has also had his own interview after the game, after that very good performance. And first and foremost, Leandro Trossard was asked on how pleased he was with the performance, and he said, "Yeah, really pleased. Of course, we wanted to end on a positive note, and I think we've done that against the biggest club in the world. So we are really, really happy to have done that. On whether we could have scored more, he said, yeah, of course, but we've scored a lot already, and I think we must be happy with that. On having his first preseason with Arsenal." Says that always helps a lot. Of course, if you can have a full preseason with the guys, it's been amazing 10 days, and like I said, I wanted to end on a positive note. On how much hard work has gone in over our USA tour, he says a lot of hard work. To be honest, we want to prepare in the best way, and I think we are on the right track. And like I said, we want to keep going. On his excitement at seeing our supporters at the Emirates Stadium again, he says, "Yeah, you're really excited. To be honest, you know what they can bring for us in the stadium, and we're looking forward to it." So that is Leandro Trossard talking about his general performance. And of course, a few questions off topic, like we always have to talk about. So the big, I think, highlight is the 5-3, the transition. But of course, I'll be talking about that in the 5 things we learned. And of course, my player rating is coming on shortly.